The truth about mobile apps that both you and I use is that the good ones, yes, the good ones, are designed using both research and design patterns. In this video, we're going to cover what design patterns are and why they are needed in mobile design. I'll also share some common use cases and common design patterns that you can use in your next app project and where you can possibly find some inspiration for them. Now, if that's your jam like it is mine, let's dive in. Generally speaking, a design pattern is a reusable approach to solving common design problems. Now, these solutions have been refined and used by designers and developers over time. Now, that time and that use has everything to do with addressing concerns that live within the app's user interface. These sort of collection of things, they can include so many different elements, such as navigation, input validation, fields, calls to action, display states, and so much more. What's the goal of using app design patterns, you ask? Well, it's simple, very simple. It's to make the design process more efficient, more consistent, and user-friendly. That's the key. From a lens or a perspective of the user, when you look at a particular product, you want consistency. And using these well-established design patterns can usually make an app's interface feel more intuitive, more familiar to use, if you will. This directly helps with pattern recognition, as many users may have interacted with the same sort of design patterns and styles that exist in other apps, whether it's social media platforms, e-commerce, and media-based apps. Now, from a designer, like a developer's point of view, these design patterns save so much time. And they do that for both designers and developers. The effort that is put into developing these products can be substantial. And teams that are building products, they don't really have to reinvent the wheel whenever they encounter a challenge in the mobile UI. With that being said, there has been so much research and studies that validates the approaches of using the tablet or mobile devices that we use every day. To follow those things allows us to save cost, save time, and just resources across the board. And it also helps so much when it comes to implementation. That is when you move to pushing things to production to go live. Now, for those of you wondering, just who's this guy talking about apps, UX design, and gamification? I share my experience and principles here to help you and others design great products and experiences. There's one thing you should know. I love this stuff. To understand the benefits of this, let's dive into some of the mobile UI patterns that serve as a valuable structure for creating beautiful layouts and easily functioning app designs. Those are the things we gravitate towards. We want to use them because they feel familiar. Now, today we'll be using some resources and references from the powerful online resource, mobileapps.com. Now, this is an online collection of UI designs and patterns and user flows of some of the most respected and widely used companies in the world. These companies have popular apps that they have released to market and are in use today. Now, it shows you app views, various screens, references for inspiration, a multitude of things that can get you started in your approach to creating really good app designs. Check out mobileapps.com and get access today. I'll leave a link in the description so you can get started. Now, the first design pattern we'll talk about is navigation, and in some cases, tab bars. These tools, they're popular, and it enables users to easily switch between different sections and parts of any app. This can show up as a drawer, formerly known as like the hamburger menu. You see that usually in the top left, as well as some of the lower positioned area of usage where this is a tappable area for the tab bar. And in these cases, they pertain to the device type and sometimes the OS. This is related to Apple OS as well as Android's. Tab bars are really useful for getting information at a glance. These are things and actions that are not really hidden from the general view of the UI. Users can see top-level options from the start, and they can access menus really quickly without digging deeper into the app. And since we use our thumb for navigation, it's really user-friendly in that way, because you can move through actions without expanding your hand or doing any extra actions for it. Now, let's talk about side drawers, or the hamburger menu, if you will. This offers navigation options for users without changing the view or adjusting UI elements. This also allows for more UI real estate, since you don't have to take up valuable screen space or anything like that. Understanding the advantages your team has with picking the right navigation can bring so much ease to the experience of the app and really make it joyful to use. Wait a minute, you are enjoying this video, and that's a really great sign. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button for more content like this and to help grow this channel. Wait until the end of the video to share this with a friend, and I thank you in advance. Now, back to your video. Now, this design pattern has everything to do with content. These are called list view. This design pattern is heavily around the view of information. It showcases it in an easy to follow way so that users can scroll and move through the content by swiping up or down, or selecting it by tapping it. Now, since we're talking about mobile viewing, they're mostly shown in vertical lists. And in that list, they can display so many things, such as thumbnail icons, text, images, and so much more. It's really a great way to condense a lot of information into a more digestible, visible way. It's a versatile pattern that makes content really searchable, and it's widely used in app interfaces. For example, you may see retail or e-commerce apps display their product catalogs in this way. You might see a collection of clothing, shoes, or some other items. Even in messaging apps, you might even see a grouping variety of conversations with various data listed in the same way. Keep list views in mind, because they're super valuable to mobile design and how we actively view and interact with things on our mobile devices. The next one we'll talk about is grid view. This is another viewing design pattern that's aligned with its name, if you will, grid view. This is where content collections are sort of arranged in this grid format, similar to list views, but more blocked or stacked up. You can view and scroll through this grid view kind of vertically as well as horizontally, but you can also tap the item and view more and select. Now, you'll see this also in e-commerce apps showing a grid view selection of items. You'll see it in like photo sharing apps, which shows things in stacked order grid as well. This is a really great way to visibly display information in an organized fashion. It's just really nice to have. Now, the third pattern we'll talk about today is content cards. Now, when it comes to showing content in a more visually pleasing way, go for the cards. They contain images, text, interactive elements, and they're arranged in this sort of stacked layout, or grid. The structure for these, it makes them very easy to scan information and consume it so easily. Keep in mind the size, okay? They make it simple to condense a lot of information in such a small sort of segment. You can see things like product listings, news articles, social media posts, the list goes on. You really want to use these to display small, really like self-contained information and make it way more legible than it needs to be. The last one we'll talk about is refresh swipe. This is a super popular design feature that lets you update information or data on the screen by swiping downward on that screen. This function is more intuitive because it updates real-time content and adds a sort of playful element to it. That interaction exists directly in the interface. Now, some brands that use this feature have added different interactions, sometimes sounds, and more to make it more engaging and make the action more intuitive to interact with. You'll see this in news apps. You'll see it in social media apps where you'll have the ability to refresh that info without navigating away from the current screen you're on, or navigate to a different part of the app altogether, like tap away. That's a really good feature to keep you invested where you are and in the moment of that app. These are key design patterns to make sure that you incorporate them into your next mobile project. But they are far from the only ones you need to use. There's a really high focus on content display, and it will make a major improvement on user engagement and accessibility. And if you want to stand out from other apps and companies, you want to ensure that you are using these techniques that are backed behind research, extensive research, and studies around user behavior. Other items that we can talk about next time would be call to action, floating buttons, and so much more. That's all the time we have today, but you need to understand that your life has color, so make sure to design it that way. And if you want to learn about the top mobile design features to add in your next project, check out this video. If you want to really learn more about gamification and the psychology with it, you can check out this video. And I'll see you in the next one.